You keep going back to the same space, the same people, the same silence that once shattered you, hoping that maybe this time it will feel different, that maybe what broke you might one day fix you. But love, you can't heal in the same place that broke you, not because you're weak, but because it was never meant to hold your healing. Welcome to Ubuntu. This isn't just a message. It's a turning point. The comfort of familiar pain. We often return to what hurt us, not because we're blind, not because we've forgotten, but because the pain became familiar, predictable, almost safe. You convince yourself, if I just love harder, if I stay patient, if I prove I've changed, then maybe they'll finally see me, finally hold me differently, finally stop being the reason I bleed. But that's not healing. That's bargaining with your wound. Your wound is not a conversation. You try to explain. You try to express. You try to be so clear about what hurt you. But they don't hear you, not really. Because some people are committed to misunderstanding you. And some spaces are not built to hold your truth. Your wound is not a debate. It's not a shared responsibility. It's a sacred signal that this is not where your healing begins. Patterns don't break until you leave the room. Healing doesn't happen with time alone. It happens with space, with distance, with courage to step away. As long as you remain in the cycle, even if you change, even if you evolve, the pattern will try to repeat itself. Because energy seeks familiarity, and trauma craves reenactment. You're not weak for leaving. You're wise for recognizing. That cycle won't end until you do. Healing requires interruption. Imagine a song playing on loop. It doesn't stop until something interrupts it. Same with emotional pain. If you keep sitting in the same environment, with the same people, hearing the same words, absorbing the same silence, then your nervous system stays activated. Your soul stays on defense. Your healing never begins because the threat never ends. Stepping away isn't quitting. It's choosing breath. It's choosing peace. It's choosing to finally stop bleeding. Your nervous system needs safety, not familiarity. Here's the truth. You can't heal where your nervous system never relaxes. Where your heart beats faster when they enter the room. Where you walk on eggshells just to avoid being shattered. Familiar doesn't mean safe. Familiar doesn't mean right. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is walk away from what you kept justifying and walk toward what gives you peace without explanation. Why you keep going back? It's not because you're weak. It's because you still hope. Because your inner child wants a different ending. Because the version of you who was once broken wants closure. But healing doesn't come from changing the past. It comes from choosing differently in the present. You don't need them to fix what they broke. You need to stop handing them the pieces. Healing begins where blame ends. You can keep blaming them. The parent who never saw you. The partner who never held you. The friend who always disappeared when you needed them most. Or you can stop asking broken people to be whole and start being whole for yourself. Healing is not about waiting for an apology. It's about offering yourself the permission to move forward, even if they never understand what they did. Closure is a gift you give yourself. You might never get the closure you hoped for, not because it wasn't deserved, but because they were never capable of giving it. So give it to yourself. Write the letter you'll never send. Say the words you needed to hear. Release the weight they refused to carry. Close the door, not to punish them, but to finally protect yourself. Walking away is an act of devotion. You don't walk away because you hate them. You walk away because you finally love you, because you've cried enough in that room, Because you've explained yourself 1,000 times. Because you've tried every version of yourself and still, they couldn't see the real you. Leaving is sacred. It's how the soul says, I remember who I am. You deserve a place that doesn't need you to shrink. You weren't made to survive your whole life. You were made to thrive. To breathe deeply. To rest fully. To feel love without question. You deserve a space where your softness is safe. Where your voice isn't too much. Where your silence isn't punished. Where your growth is celebrated. And that space might not be where you're standing now. Healing is lonely, but it's holy. The walk away will hurt. The silence will echo. You'll question everything. But one day, you'll breathe deeper. You'll smile softer. You'll wake up and realize you're not bracing for pain anymore. And in that moment, you'll know you didn't just survive. You healed. If your soul felt seen today, if you recognized your own silence in these words, then you're not alone anymore. Subscribe to Ubuntu. This is your space. This is your sanctuary. This is your reminder. You don't have to heal where it hurt. You can walk away and still heal beautifully.